Hello Bookworms, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So it's a new month, which means it's a new TBR, so without further ado, let's get straight into the video and see what I am reading in May. So May's TBR is a little bit different this time round. Usually I do all of the book club books I'm going to read. I tend to do books that I feel like in the mood to read, and then any readathons I'm doing. However, I'm not doing it like this. I'm actually participating in a couple of readathons, and a lot of these readathons give me the sort of chance to mood read. So basically this TBR is going to be the book clubs that I am. There's some that I'm definitely doing, others I'm going to see whether I can do it or not. And then the rest of my TBR is going to be all of the readathons. So there are going to be quite a few books. There probably will be double up in books. And it could all change. I might swap a book and do a different book. I'm also filming this pretty early, so we're still in the last week of April. I'm actually busy. This last week I've got a lot of things doing, and when I wanted to film this, I realised that I was out all day, so I couldn't do it. So I'm filming it now, and you're actually going to see my May TBR before you see my April wrap-up. Usually I do my April wrap-up first, then my May TBR, but I'm currently reading one book, and I still have my book club book that I need to read, which is on my Kindle, and I haven't even got there yet. So I think I might just do my April wrap-up once I finish those books, but I've got a feeling they might be sort of be read the first beginning of May. We'll see, because yeah, my reading isn't been the best in April because I've just been poorly, and I've just been really in the mood to just go with the flow rather than anything, which is what I quite like about doing this TBR, because actually the readathons, yes, I'm doing them, I'm doing a couple, but they all give me a chance to mood read. But before I get into the readathons and everything, I'll just go through all of the book clubs and other things that I have on my TBR. But let me just get my little stack, because there's some on my Kindle and there's some that I've got stacked. So let's go with the books that I don't own at the moment and get them out of the way. I've got my trusty tablet here to basically help me out. So for my book club, we are going to be reading The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. So I have requested this at the library, but everywhere it's on hold. So I'm hoping I might get it at some point. Even if it's the last week of May, I don't mind. It's going to be a very quick, easy read because it's a romance, and I think it's enemies to lovers or something like that. But worst come when it doesn't come, then I might try and get it on my Kindle, or maybe listen to it in audio. I'm not 100% sure. I might actually see if I can get it on borrowed books, but as a Kindle. That might be another option if I can't get the booklet reserved on the library. Basically, I'm trying to stop buying books, apart from pre-orders and stuff like that. I'm trying my hardest not to actually buy books, because my library is really good at the moment, and I'm just oh, do you know what? It just saves some bookish space. But we're going to read The Spanish Love Deception for my book club, and I'm really excited for it because I've heard nothing but good things. Then next, I will also hopefully be reading The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. This is her newest book, and this is for the buddy read / book club called The Late Night Crew, which Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy's run, and other obviously booktubers. I will also be reading the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. There's going to be it's basically FanRo Book Club, which is hosted by basically Bookish Reads on BookTube. She did this before, but basically we were reading fantasy romance books that was the start of a series and never finishing it and all of that, and some people wanted to. So she's changed up in the sense that we will be reading a series in blocks. So the first series is the Plated Prisoner series, the second series is Kingdom of the Wicked series, and then the third series will be the Bargainer series. So the Plated Prisoner series for May, we're reading the first book, which is Guild. Now, I have already read this. I actually read this for a tour spot, and I didn't like it just because it was extremely dark, and I didn't expect it to be dark. However, I now know what happens in that book, and I know it's dark, and I know there's triggerings. It's not triggering from me, but I just didn't expect it to be as dark as it is. I completely went into it blind. So this time around, I want to reread it because I've heard from book 2 onwards, it's not really dark anymore. It's got fantasy, it's got romance in it, but it's not as dark as what the first book was. And loads of people absolutely love it. I know Becca from Becca and the Books absolutely loves that series. I know Ashley from Front Through Fiction, I know she's started reading it and loving it. So I'm going to reread it. I've got it on my Kindle already. I'm going to reread it, knowing what actually happens and how dark it is. I'm hoping that I'll actually enjoy it a lot more because I'm very much aware of it. So I definitely want to read that because it also will be really good for a readathon that's happening. So I might squeeze that in. Then I'm also, I've requested at the library, so I'm hoping it will come. It is in transit, so I should get it soon. But it's Other People's Clothes by Kala Henkel, which is like a Berlin mystery thriller. And this is for a Patreon book club that I have recently joined, which is Katerina, which is the Bambina Katerina, her booktube channel. She just started her own Patreon, and it's like an Alice in Wonderland inspired one, and I was like, I just have to. And I've actually stopped some Patreons, so I was on Morgan's, but I stopped that just because I'm struggling with money at the moment. So I've stopped that, and I've also stopped Ashley's Patreon just because the books that have been on there I haven't really been interested in, or it's books that I've already read. I don't really go on her sprints that often purely because it's on times that, because she's obviously UK, it's times that I'm busy with Alice or it's bedtime or something like that, as in when I do the sprints with Sydney, because we're a different time difference, it actually works well because it's usually late in the evening for me. So I'm not doing hers anymore. I might go back onto them later down the year possibly, but they're the two done. But I have joined into Katerina's Patreon, and I've also joined into Cassidy's, which is Cover with Cassidy's, her Patreon. But I'm not sure if we're actually got a buddy read or anything together, and there hasn't been anything said, so I'm assuming we're not. But we're going to read Other People's Clothes. I'm going to try it. I'm not sure it's going to be my jam. I think it's sort of got two different timestamps. So we've got like 1970 something, and then I think it's like 2017 or something. I can't remember now. It's set in Berlin, so I'm not 100% sure if it's my jam, but I think I'm going to try it. If I don't like it, then I won't bother. And then the rest are books that I can actually show you. So first up, I am going to be doing the Red Queen read-along that Rise Reading Corner is doing. So for this month onwards, we'll be reading Red Queen series. So we're going to be reading for May Red Queen, and then there's also a novella which is, I can't remember what it's called, and there's a novella that we're reading too. It's only a short one. I'm hoping that I can get the novella on Kindle, or possibly see if the library has it. If not, I might see if I can get it on audio as well. We'll see. If I don't read it, I'm not overly bothered because it's a novella, and I'm just like, well, does it matter? So the series is Red Queen, and it's Glass Sword, King's Cage, and Warstorm. So obviously each month we'll be reading each book. So we're starting with Red Queen. This is actually going to be repeated a lot because it fits in some prompts. Now, I've been wanting to read this for ages, but I'm a bit nervous by it. I don't know why. I know it's a little bit political, and sometimes political fantasy, I like it or I don't, and I'm just like, oh, am I? But I like the actual sort of synopsis of the fact that we have different bloods, and depending what colour blood you have depends on your hierarchy sort of thing. So I think there's red or silver. So I think red blood is your commoners, you're like poor, all that sort of thing. If you're silver, you are the elite and you're in possession of godlike superpowers and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued, and I'm hoping, because I have a push in the bum to actually read it now, that I will enjoy it. And if I do enjoy it, I'll definitely continue on reading the series and the read along. If it's not for me, then I won't continue. But we're going to try this, and it also fits really well with some readathon prompts. That's brilliant. I'm really annoyed that I actually unhauled this book, because when I saw it, I was just like, oh, if I still kept it, I would have like not had to request it from the library, but it doesn't matter. But the Literally Dead Book Club, which is hosted by Books and Lala, she did her May, June and July book club picks. Now I keep forgetting about this book club because it's primarily on Goodreads, and I don't always watch a lot of Books and Lala's videos. I tend to do it more for like her recommendations for thrillers and horror. And I completely forgot that she hosted this book club, but I saw her video and I just watched it, and May, June and July's book club picks sound absolutely awesome. So I was like, I want to join in. So for May, we're reading Confessions by Kane Minato. I might have said this wrong. And I think the all 3 months book choices is translated fiction. because some people said that, you know, we haven't done it, can we? Now, I used to own this book, and I remember owning it because it sounded really, really, really good. And I think I unhauled it purely because I've had it for like 2 and a bit years, and I still hadn't read it, and I was like, I'm not going to. And then this came up, and she explained the synopsis, and then I went to look at a book cover, and I was like, because obviously America's got a different one, and I was like, oh my god, I remember having this book and unhauling it because I thought I'd never get round to it. I should have kept it because I finally had a chance. But never mind. But basically, it says, when Yuko Moriguchi's 4-year-old daughter died at the middle school where she teaches, everyone thought it was a tragic accident. Now it's the last day of term and Yuko's last day at work. She tells the students she's resigned because of what happened, but not for the reasons they think. Her daughter didn't die in an accident. Her daughter was killed by 2 pupils in a class, and before she leaves, she has a lesson to teach. But revenge has a way of spinning out of control, and Yuko's last lecture is only the start of the story. In this best-selling Japanese thriller of love, despair, and murder, everyone has a confession to make, and no one will escape unharmed. So, I'm very intrigued. So it's clear that there was a school shooting and this teacher's daughter died from that. So I'm kind of wondering whether she has maybe turned it around and she's now the gunman. And so she's done like not actually wanting to hurt anyone, but primarily making a stand or something. I don't know. I'm very intrigued. It sounds really good. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I'm really excited for the remaining other books that are in the Literary Dead book club. So I'm very excited to actually start reading some of the books for there. Next up, I will be hopefully, it is a chunky book, hopefully try and read Skyward, Claim the Stars Book 1 by Brandon Sanderson. So this is Sydney's Patreon. We do a poll. So the winner is the book club, and then the second place book is Buddy Read. Now the book club the book pick that won was Verity by Kulina Hoover, and I have already read it, which I'm very glad because I haven't been reading any of the book club picks lately because I've not had the time or just not been in the mood for them. So I actually can join in the conversation with that because I just read it this month in April, because we're in April still, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm glad that would be there. I can actually do it for us. But the Buddy Read and the second place was this book, and I actually saw it in my library, so I was like, you know what, I'll try. So this is a sci-fi, but I feel like it's got a lot of like different elements in. Like, it's a space opera. It is YA. It feels like it's got a sort of sense of a little bit of a thriller in, or a mystery in here. So I'm kind of thinking I might enjoy this. I think I've learned when I read sci-fi, I am better at reading and listening to sci-fi. It makes it more like absorb in my head more. So I think I'm going to, I've already looked, I'm going to definitely get this from audiobook and read it and listen to it at the same time. But it sounds really good. I'm very intrigued, and this is going to be my first Brandon Sanderson book. I do own a few of his, and I have sort of started a couple of them, but they're so big and I haven't finished them and all that, and I wasn't overly keen on the writing in those books, but the writing in this one's a lot bigger and easier to read. So this will be my first Sanderson book, and I'm very excited. It sounds really good, and I feel like I probably will enjoy it. So I'm really excited to read this, and if I really enjoy the series, I certainly will pick the rest of the series up. So I'll be reading the Buddy Read more than the book club. And lastly, we have my 12 book challenge book, and also my Fairy Loop book. You won't obviously see this video before my April wrap up, so I might as well say I did read April's 12 book challenge, and I am currently reading the Fairy Loop vlog book that we picked, which is also my Buddy Read with Lucy. However, I haven't actually videoed them because I've been poorly and I've been coughing loads and I've been all bummed up, and still not brilliant now. With my cold, I've still got quite a bummed up nose and I get chesty now and then, and I just wasn't in the mood to vlog, so I didn't bother. So hopefully May we can get back up to vlogging and all of that, because I've hardly done any videos for April, no content, and I had so much planned, but April's just been horrible. But for my 12 book challenge for May, I will be reading The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I think this is YA. I have had this on my TBR before and never got round to it because I'm quite intimidated by this book. Everyone loves it, and I'm so scared I'm going to read it and hate it, and I don't want to be the person to turn around and say, actually I didn't like it, so I keep putting it off. But it was recommended to me. It was recommended to me by so many different people, and I was just like, you know what? Everyone has, like, I had about 10 people say this, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to put it on there. And I feel like this would be a perfect read for me because it does feel quite summary. Like, I don't know whether it's a summary type book, to be honest. It's like a magical island, a dangerous task, a burning secret. But I just feel like, you know, it's a house in next to the sea. It just gives me sort of beach vibes, and I thought it'd be a lovely book to get into May, because we're finally getting into the beginning of summer. Like, we're in spring, we are getting warmer weather. You know, by the end of May, beginning of June, we tend to start getting a summer in UK, so I'm very excited to just pick something that does sound quite summery. And then for the fairy vlog that I read every month, so I did actually have two that I wanted to read in April, which was Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Only a Monster, but obviously I was really poorly in April, so I said to Lucy, shall we just read Daughter of the Moon Goddess and read this in May? She was fine with it, so I'm going to be reading this in May, and I'm very excited of this. I think it's just the kind of book I need at the minute. So yeah, that's that. Now we're on to the readathons. I'm going to have to get my tablet again, because I have a lot to go on. So, I will be taking part in a couple. I'll be taking part in the Royal Readathon, which is Royal Couples, which is for the whole month of May. And this, I did the Royal Readathon before, and it was Royal Animals. So this time it's couples. So I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm also taking part in Smut Readathon, which is hosted by, well, it's run by Cassidy, but it's also hosts, which is Rise Reading Corner, Mel Lenore reads, Bobby reads, and obviously Cassidy herself. And that's a 72-hour readathon. Excuse me. And basically, it's from Thursday, May the 12th to Sunday, May the 15th. Is their time stamp, so it's 9 PM EST time. Obviously, that's 2 AM my time, so I'm not going to be doing that. So I've decided I'm going to do 9 PM my time and end at 9 PM my time on Sunday. Now, it is a weekend I have Alice, so I don't know how much reading I'm going to be doing, but it is basically a 72-hour readathon where we read Smut. And we have two different wheels that we use to do wheel spins. So there is a dark romance wheel or a light romance wheel. And you can choose different wheels each day. So say Friday, I might be in the mood to read dark romance, spin, and for that whole day, read how many books I could read. And then Saturday, I'd be like, oh, do you know what? I just really want to read a light, fluffy book. So I can go on that wheel, and whatever this wheel spins on, lands on, is the book I read, or the prompt anyway. And then I could, like, you know, go back to dark romance on Sunday. Now, I think I am just going to do dark romance, because that's my kind of jam. And basically, all of the books will be from Kindle Unlimited, because I have quite a lot of Kindle Unlimited dark romance books on here. So basically, you spin a wheel, you get the trope, you fit the book for that trope. You get free respins, but that's all you get in the 72 hours, so you have to choose them wisely. The only restriction is the book you're reading has to have smut in, which for me, dark romance, you definitely have smut in. So when it comes to May the 12th, I will be vlogging this whole 72-hour readathon. So on a Thursday, I will probably, I think each day I will do my spins. And it depends how many books I can get through. Like, I feel like with Kindle Unlimited dark romances, I can read them in one sitting, so I might be able to read 2 books each day. And if that's the case, that would be brilliant, because then I would have read 6 books in 72 hours. So I'm going to try that, but we'll see. But I'm not going to do a TBR for that, purely because I'm going to do the wheel spins and everything on the actual readathon, like long weekend, and like each day I would do a spin. So I think I'll spin, choose a book. Once I read that book, do another spin. Depends how many books I can read during a day. Like the Thursday and Friday would be fine, because as at school, so I can't read quite a bit. It's just the Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, I will be doing some like things with my family, so I might not read as much during the day, but certainly will in the evening. So we'll see. I'm aiming to do 6 books, because I think if I love the book so much, and because they're such quick, easy one-sitting books for me, I might be able to. I might be able to read more, or it might be that I read 4 in the end. But we'll see. Like, you know, it's no competition really. It's just a bit of fun, and quite frankly, I'm in a dark romance mood. So we're going with it. So that's going to be that, which is the 12th to the 15th of May. And then to go on to basically the same person with Cassidy, she is doing, and I love this, she's doing a Patreon readathon. So that is the end of May, so it's running on the 23rd to the 30th of May. And basically, I'll insert it, but we have got in like Cassidy's Patreon actual like club, all of us in certain tiers will get a dragon colouring picture to fill in. And so she actually ended up deciding to do a readathon sort of based on that. So the first one and it determines with your colouring picture you have, you basically have to determine which egg you want and where you found it. So the options are in the grass, underwater, or on top of a mountain, and whichever one you choose is the colouring page you're going to have. So I've chosen in the grass, so I'll be having this one. And then the rest of the prompts is your how you're going to colour it, but also depending on that, it depends on what reading prompts you have. So basically, your now task for this is to colour it in. So it's to choose your primary egg colour, and basically the prompt is read a book with a colour you've chosen in the drawing, and that's what you'll be reading on the cover, so whatever book cover, but whatever colour you've chosen is the book cover, basically. So the options was red or orange, green or blue, or pink or purple. So I decided to go for orange, and so for that I will be reading The Falling in Love montage by Sierra Smith, which is a sapphic contemporary romance. It's not big. I'm in a romance mood, so I'm going to go with it, and I always find romance very easy and quick to read. So it's obviously orange. It's also got like a pale pink here. I would say it's more like a peach colour more than pink, but primarily it's orange, so we're going to go with that. And then the next sort of task and prompt is we then have to choose a pattern for our egg. So the primarily colour for my egg is going to be orange, but what pattern do I want? So there's obviously 3 different patterns to choose from. So there's scales, which is read an intimidating book, swirls, read a whimsical book, or spots, which is read a comfort read or a trope you know you love. So I'm going to go with spots. I'm going with spots. Hang on. I think I may have missed out something. I'm going to double check and I'll come back. Yeah, I missed out one. Let's just go back a bit. Ignore me. So I've just chosen my primary egg colour, which I said was orange, and then the next one is your secondary egg colour, which then goes on with the following prompt that I just got to. So the secondary egg colour is either black or white, different shade to the primary colours, so red, green, blue, whatever it is, and gold or silver. So for black and white is to read an anticipated book. For different shades of primary colours it's continue a series. For gold or silver it's foiled cover. Now I am swaying to the last 2. Gold or silver with foiled cover I could do only a monster because that's my fairy loot, and underneath the dust jacket it's all foiled and embossed. However, I'm more prone to going to a different shade of primary colours purely because I'm thinking about doing either purple or pink. So I'm going to go with that, which is continuous series, and for that I am going to continue on reading Zodiac Academy, which I am on book 4, which is Shadow Princess, and that's by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I absolutely love the series. I binge read the first 3 books in about 48 hours. You'll see how much I love them when I do my April wrap up. But I had started book 4, but then I had to read books that I needed to read. So I want to continue reading it because I really do love that series. And then, like I was saying, we then choose a pattern, which the pattern is the secondary primary colour that we're using. So like I said, there were scales, which is reading an intimidating book, swirls, which is reading a whimsical book, spots, which I'm going to be doing, so I'm going to have pink spots, and then my main egg colour is going to be orange. Well, it's either pink or purple. I think I might do, I don't know, one of the 2. It'll either be pink or purple, whichever one will kind of go more. For spots is read a comfort read or a trope you love. I was going to do a comfort read. I was going to read The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern because I've been really wanting to reread it. I love it. But I just want to make my reading a little bit easier, and at the moment I am more in the mood to read romance, which is shocking, or fantasy romance per se. So I decided I'm going to go with the trope you love because there's 2 tropes I really, really do love. I love slow burn romance, and I love the grumpy verse sunshine romance. So decided I'm going to read also a book by a favourite author to me who does those tropes. So I'm going to either read, I'm not sure which one yet, either I'm going to read Luna and the Lie or Colty, which is by Mariana Zapata. Both those books will be slow burn romances. They also have the grumpy cross sunshine trope in. So I'm going to go with one of those two. I haven't decided which one yet. Both of them are actually bigger books, but it will be on Kindle Unlimited, and I honestly find Mariana Zapata's books to be so, like, I can't put it down, like, because it's such a, and it is a really slow burn romance, like, you don't really get the romance until like the last few pages, like the last bit of the book, but I love it because you're constantly keeping reading because you want to know if they do get together. You will see a trend because I am going to be reading another Mariana Zapata book, which I could put in this, but I got a feeling that that book's going to be read quite early on. So that's for Cassidy's Patreon readathon, and she has said that this is the start of a like bigger readathon that will happen. So whatever we choose with these eggs, it's going to continue on in the story of another readathon. So I'm really excited for that. I am also participating in Desertathon, which is run by Esme, who had done the Greek Godathon readathon that I absolutely enjoyed. But I'm going to do that last because it's a board game and I want to do some roles while we're here. But I'm just going to jump on and talk about the Royal Readathon. So I have I have 8 prompts. I think there's 8 prompts, but I have a few books that would fit these prompts. So I'm going to sort of tell you which books that fit these prompts. But I haven't fully decided what kind of book I will be reading just yet. So I will obviously try and do some vlogs of this. So hopefully when I do vlogs, you'll know what my actual final thoughts are. If not, it'll be my main wrap up. I'll say like this is for this prompt and all that. So the prompts, like I said, they're all to do with royal couples and all that. So the first prompt is Milan and Shang, and that is to read a book with LGBTQI plus rep. And so for that, I have The Falling in Love montage by Sierra Smith. We have a sapphic romance. We've also got Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, which is a sapphic romance. I think it's a bully romance. I might be completely wrong. I can't remember now. I think it might be something like that. I might be completely wrong, actually. I can't remember, to be honest. Then we have a arc that I'm very interested and more going towards, as well as another one, but Milo and Marcus at the End of the World, which is by Kevin Christopher Snipes. So this is a male-male relationship. I absolutely love this cover, and I think this will be quite a fun, easy read. Like, it's a dystopian, post-apocalyptic romance. So I'm intrigued about this one, and I am more leaning towards this one, as well as this one, which is Extasia by Claire Legrand, which is a witchy occult horror book, but we do have a sapphic relationship in here. So I am sort of going towards these two. I also have Call Me By Your Name. I also have Messy Roots, which is a graphic novel, but it's like a memoir graphic novel. And I've also got a fantasy romance, Afterlove, but for me, it's between these two books. Then we have Ariel and Eric, a book with sailors or mermaids or pirates. We're allowing that. So one of these books I actually thought I owned, and I've looked everywhere and I must have unhauled it. And I'm really annoyed that I did, because this would have been a perfect book for this prompt, but never mind. But these are the 3 books I've been oohing, but one of those books actually I am putting in my 12-book challenge, and I think it's in June or July, so I'm not going to be reading that, but I'll just give you the option anywhere. But it's Into the Drowning Deep, which is what I have got in the book pick for 12-book challenge. I'm not going to do that. But we have Skin of the Sea, which I did own, but I've obviously unhauled it, or it's somewhere and I just can't find it, which is like a sort of to do with gods and like death and stuff like that. It's like quite a dark mermaid book in my opinion, but I'm more leaning onto Daughter of the Pirate King, because it's primarily on a ship. We primarily got pirates, we've got sailors on there. I think there's also an enemies to lovers trope in this book as well. I have requested it in the library, but it's taking forever. It's just been placed, and I'm just there thinking, it you know, is it in transit or not? It's just currently got placed next to it, so I'm hoping I'll get it soon. If not, I might try and get it on Kindle and all that. I just don't want to spend any money at the minute, but we'll see. But there, I have got other books like Part of Your World. Hang on, I've got Part of Your World, which is obviously a Little Mermaid retelling. I could do that. I'm just not really in the mood for it because one of the Let It Go books that I read. I absolutely hated it. So if I can't get any of those books, then that might be the option purely because I own it. And next we have Belle and the Beast, a book with a forced proximity. I've only got one book for this because I knew this book was going to fit this and I wanted to read it. And it's All Roads Lead Here, which is Mariana Zapata. I said I was going to be reading another book. So this is to do with a single father, and he's also the lady's landlord, I think. And I think the forced proximity sort of thing is, I've heard there's like a camping scene and stuff like that, but I know it's very much they're in one place. So it fits it. I don't know whether it fully fits it, but I'm making it fit because I really want to read it. And then we have Aurora and Prince Philip, a book with a secret or forbidden romance. So I have numerous books. I've got Hook, Line and Sinker, which I could read. I could get request that from the library. I've also got Lessons in Corruption, which is a dark romance. The Sweetest Oblivion, dark romance. Twisted Games, dark romance. I'm leaning towards the last three purely because it's on Kindle Unlimited and it will be really quick reads. But I recently acquired this book from Fairy League, and I am very much interested in reading this one as well because it's certainly got a forbidden romance because it is a fantasy Romeo and Juliet sort of retelling book, and that's An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X. R. Pan. Basically, it's a spellbinding reinterpretation of Romeo and Juliet filled with romance, magic, and Chinese mythology. Obviously, it's got the forbidden romance because, you know, Romeo and Juliet, their families are all like not liking each other. So I am also very keen on this one because it sounds really good. It's also multiple POV, which I love. Like we've got Romeo and Juliet's POVs, but I think we've also got their parents and possibly like their friends. So possibly this. Like I'm kind of like, if it's a quick read, then definitely might do this. But then also the three last books that I said are on Kindle Unlimited. They are dark romances, and I know I will read them in 24 hours, so that would be an option too. Then we have Rapunzel and Finn, a book with adventure, and for that I have two possibilities. So I have The Balloon Thief, which might also work with the Desertathon prompt. I need to double check, but I've got The Balloon Thief by Anissa Marufu, and it's basically a big adventure on a hot air balloon. And yeah, it sounds really good and I'm very intrigued. But also A Thousand Steps into Night by Tracy G. I just recently owned this. But basically she's like it says when Mayuko is cursed and begins to transform into a demon with a deadly touch, she embarks on a quest to reverse the curse and return to her normal life. So basically she has to travel to go to somewhere where she can potentially get rid of this curse. So Eva has the adventure aspect. I'm just not sure which one I will get to. Like I think I might enjoy this one a bit more purely because it's to do with demons and I love reading books about demons. This might actually fit into one of the Desertathon prompts, so I could potentially still read this anyway, but we'll see. Then we have Tiana and Naveen, a book with enemies to lovers. A few options. I think I know which one I'm leaning towards, but that doesn't come out till nearly end of May, so we'll see. But The Spanish Love Deception, which is my book club pick, that would work, and I will be reading it anyway, so technically I could use that book and not have to add another book. However, The Inadequate Heir, which is the third book in the Bridge Kingdom series. It's the last book, I think, as well. Comes out in May, and I really want to read it because I love it, and that is Enemies to Lovers. I know quite a bit about these characters because they're in the second book, but it does come out nearly end of May, so we'll see. And I know, like, I'm more drawn to that because I know I'll read it in one sitting because I had done with the previous books, but we'll see. We've also got Beat Street by Emily Henry, which I got here. I just haven't got it out, but I'm not really torn. The Daughter of the Pirate King, I've been told it's an Enemies to Lovers, so that could be an option if I do read it for another prompt. Like I could double it up. And We Hunt the Flame, which I've got up here, that's got Enemies to Lovers, but I'm not really. I could use that. That would be a good option because I am hoping to possibly read it for Desertathon, but I just really am more torn into The Inadequate Heir because I know I'll read it really fast and I really want to read it and I'm planning to read it anyway when it comes out, so yeah. We'll see. Then we're on to Cinderella and Prince Charming, a book with a ball or party. So I have two options. You should wear a crown, which is prom, or I've also got Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This obviously does have a ball in, and it's quite a big one, it's quite an important one, so I'm going to go with this purely because it's on my TBR anyway, and it does fit the bill, so we're just going to go with that, because You Should Wear a Crown, I did start reading it, and it was extremely YA for me, and I was like, yeah, I think I need to just be in the mood for that, and I'm not. And then lastly, Anna and Kristoff, a book that makes you laugh. This is the hard one for me, because I honestly have no idea. Like, you know, I don't know. Unless I reread a book that makes me laugh, which in hindsight I don't really have any. So I did look up on Goodreads and basically see what books have got humour in. And these two books were on there, which is If I Never Met You and You Two Deserve Each Other. They're both romances. They both do sound quite funny, so we'll see. This one is a prompt that I just don't know at the minute, so I have a feeling that this prompt it might just be I'll read some books, and if it's made me laugh and I've really enjoyed my time with it, then I'll fit that book in. I kind of have a feeling it might be Zodiac Academy because it's a fantasy romance, but the bluntness with the twin sisters is brilliant. That I have not stopped laughing, even though it's quite a dark book at times. Like, it's got a bully romance. It's quite dark at times. It's quite mean, but the sarcasm and bluntness from these two twins is just brilliant. So I might fit that in that, because both the 3 books that I've read, I've had a good time and I've had a laugh over it. So that might be my safe bet. It depends if that book does make me laugh, because as I'm now getting to the series, it's getting more intense. So we'll see. But that's those prompts. And then we are on to Desertathon. So I'm going to give you Desertathon's information, and then we're going to play the game. So basically, Desertathon is run by Esme, who did Greek Godathon. She's got a whole big load of hosts because it's in teams. I can't be bothered to go in there. But basically, it's Desertathon. It's Trek Through the Desert. In this round, this has been a readathon that's been done before, but I have never heard of it until I saw it. But apparently in this round, we will try to find our way through the desert, and we will be doing this in teams. So there are 4 teams. Oh, it does tell me it tells me who the hosts are. Team Lion, which is Sasha, who is known as the Wild Sasha on BookTube. Team Scorpion, which is Steph, which is Cover Over Apples on BookTube. And Team Camel, which is Femke, which is one of the Bookish Buddies YouTube. And then we have Team Elephant, which is Esme, which is also Bookish Buddies because they have a BookTube together. I am on Team Elephant. Each team has a colour coded to its team. So for Lion it's yellow, for Scorpion it's red, for Camel it's orange, and for grey it's elephant. And basically the aim of the game is we've got this board, which I'll put up here. As you can see, there's start and finish. As you can see, we've got colours, and then we've got like a little desert space too. The desert space is, if you land on it, is a wild card. You can choose whatever you book you want. There's no prompts. You can just mood read, which is fantastic because I do have other books for prompts, so it could fit in there. But each colour you've got, so you roll a dice, whatever you land on. So say I land on 4 and I land on grey. There are then 20 prompts, which actually I'll put up here, but I have written it down. But there's 20 prompts, and on each card there is the 4 colours, and each colour has a prompt. So say I roll and I roll a 4 and I land on a 4, which is elephant, which is grey, which is my team. So elephant, grey, that prompt is a book that you could read in one sitting. So I had to pick a book that fits that prompt. But also, if I land on that, I get 2 points because it's my team colour. If I land on all of the other colours, I get 1 point. Basically, there are 2 ways to complete this TBR. You can complete it by obviously reaching 63 I think, which is the sunspot, the finish spot. You've completed the readathon, or you can complete the readathon by reading 1 desert vibe book. So we can go it that way. You can choose whatever dice you want. I'm going to roll a 20 dice just because it might get me around a board a little bit quicker, per se. So what I'm going to do, I think I am going to roll 3 or 4. I think I'm going to start with 3. We'll see how far into the board I get. If I'm not really far into the board, I might roll another roll to do 4. But we're going to roll 3, possibly 4 rolls. And then whatever I land on prompt, I'll fit a book to that prompt. And then I am going to vlog. So my vlog, I will probably read those books that I have already primarily rolled, and then once I've finished them, I will do some more rolls. Whether it will be some more rolls in that vlog or whether I'll do a next vlog which has the rolls, I'm not 100% certain. But I'm also going to be mindful of my reads. Obviously, I'm participating in other readathons. I am got a lot going on in May. There's some exciting stuff happening with my family. I'm not going to talk about. You will see a secret vlog happening in June, but a lot of stuff's happening, and particularly in May, I need to get things sorted, and I'm also very distracted because of what's going on, so I'm kind of like focusing on that more than my reads. So I'm hoping to read quite a bit because I'm in the mood to read, especially when I'm more into like romance books at the minute. But I'm also very mindful that if I am busy or I'm getting distracted by what's going on, so I kind of feel like if I can't complete the readathon by the game wise, I am going to make sure I am going to read a Desert Vibe book so I can say that I have completed it. So in regards to Desert Vibe books, I have We Hunt the Flame, which is the Arabian Nights retelling. It's and is definitely like there's a trek and it's in the desert. This fits very well for Desert Vibe book. I also have, which I found in the library, it shouldn't have actually been out on the shelves because it hadn't even been stickered or anything, but The Book of Sand by Thea Claire, which is a pen name to a different author, which is Mo something, I can't remember. Never read this author before, but this is The Book of Sand. It's a dystopian, I think there's thriller, like there's aliens. It's like a mixed match of fantasy, sci-fi, apocalyptic. There's aliens. This is in the sand. Like I feel like by what the map shows, like it is, we're in like Abu Dhabi, which obviously pretty much is sand. So yeah, this would also be really good, and I'm planning to read this anyway because it sounds absolutely awesome. So I think I'm also going to do this an audio book and read. It is a chunky book, but so these two, also the Readathon. I think I said that right. That is got desert vibes. It's also an enemies to lovers, and I know that the Enchanted Book Club, I think it is, I can't remember who hosts it, but their actually book pick for May is that book as well. So possibly read that. It is actually on my Kindle, so it might be a quicker read. What else? City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, I think. I've got that on Kindle again. That's got desert vibes, so I've got options. So I could primarily think, do you know what? I can't complete this, or I haven't got time, I'm getting distracted or whatever, and I need to focus on the other readathons that's happening. I will probably pick, well, there's two here, and there's two more on my Kindle. I might pick one of them, and at least I can say, yes, I've completed it, because I read a Desert Vibe book. So let's get on to the actual throws and to pick the first 3 or 4 books in the readathon, so you can see some books that I am planning to read for Desertathon. So let me just get everything set up and then we can go and see. Okay, here is the setup. We've got the board. Don't have any ink. Well, I've got black ink, but I haven't got coloured ink, and it wouldn't work with just black ink. So I've just left it on my tablet to do. I've got my little token to go around. I am going to be rolling a 20-sided dice purely because I'm hoping it might get me round quicker. These, I've written all the prompts down because, again, haven't got coloured ink, and black and white wouldn't work because I wouldn't know the actual colours. So basically, let's do the first roll, which is 3. So let's roll 3. 1, 2, 3. Pick a card up, and what colour were we on? Red. So red is read a book that makes you feel warm. Rightio. I am going to carry on playing basically and then go and pick the books afterwards because it'll be easier. So that's the first prompt. Roll 2. And that is 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're on 16. So let's go, and red for that is read a book that has a sidekick. Okay, that might be a little bit hard. That's going to be a definite big hunt to see if there's any books that I can fit that in. So that's the second prompt. Right, I'm going to do a third roll, see what that gives me. If it's just a little number, then I'll do a fourth roll. If it's a big one, then I'll just leave it there. So, ready? Ooh, what was that? A 6. Yes, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 20. And that is a yellow. So for yellow is read a book randomly generated. Okay, so basically put some books down and go from there, maybe. Or numbers or something. Alright, we'll find something to do that. And I am going to do a fourth throw, I think, yeah. So we were on, go back. Oh, no. Bloody thing. We were on 20. So let's roll again. And we have landed on 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 32, which is a yellow. And that is read a book with gold on the cover. Okay, that one might be easy actually, that can work. Right, let's go and choose the books for those 4 rolls then. So, books. I've found some books. So, the first prompt that we got was read, and it's read a book that makes you feel warm. So that could be any interpretation, in my opinion. It could be a book that gives you cozy vibes. It could be a book that literally is set in a country that's extremely warm, like, you know, if you're on a beach and it's a really sunny day. That's technically, in my opinion, a book that makes you feel warm because it's in like a sunny, warm setting. I am literally going to go into the sense of a book that literally makes me physically warm, hot under the, like, you know, hot under the cover. So I'm going to be reading Lessons in Corruption by Gianna. This is I'd say like a dark romance, possibly. It's definitely a forbidden type romance. It's basically between a teacher and a student, and they shouldn't really be together, but they are. I'm going to read that because I know for well it's going to be steamy, and I know with that it's going to make me very hot under the cover and I will physically get quite warm from it. So I'm going to go with that, whether that's what this prompt means, but you know, to me it's very vague. It's a book that makes you feel warm. It could be a book that has cozy vibes. It could physically be a book that makes you hot under the cover. Collar. Hot under the collar. And I'm going to go with that because I know this book is going to make me quite whew, in my opinion. So that's what we're going to go with the first prompt. Then the second prompt is read a book that has a sidekick. And it can be any kind of sidekick, in my opinion. It could be an animal. It could be like a sidekick to like a main character. And I basically just googled this and thought I'll just see what it gives me. And one of them, like the popular like character sidekicks, is basically a very popular one. It's Ron and Hermione from Harry Potter. And I was like, do you know what? I actually haven't read the 3rd book in the Harry Potter series. I know it's a very quick and easy read. So I'm going to read Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. Very aware about this author and all of that. So I won't go on to too much. But I'm going to read this book purely because it's, you know, Ron and Hermione, they're not like the main characters. It's not the story of them. But obviously they are sidekicks for Harry and everything like that. And I also feel like with the Prisoner of Azkaban, Ron and Hermione don't have the biggest sort of parts in this book because it is mainly to do with Harry and finding Cyril Black. It's more near the end when they're all together, and then Hermione takes a bigger role rather than Ron. Sorry, so I'm going to go with that because I don't own that many like animal sidekick books. The ones that I do, I've already read. I could read Spellsinger. I know there's an animal sidekick in that. I'm just not in the mood for that. I just want something that's basically really easy. So we're going to go for that. Then the 3rd prompt was read a book randomly generated. So I decided to go and do spin the wheel. So I chose, was it 6 books? I think I chose 6 books. I will insert that clip now. And then basically as you can probably see from that, I will be reading for that The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Adair. So this is technically got desert vibes, it's enemies to lovers, so in hindsight we could say when I've read it that I have completed the readathon because I read a desert vibe book. However, I'm going to continue with my rolls because I am up to the number 32 and this is only goes to 63, so depending on how I go with the remaining rolls, you know, I might complete this readathon with very little reads to do, which is brilliant. But if it starts getting a bit longer and longer, then I can hindsight just say, well, I read a desert vibe book, so I know I've completed the readathon. So I'm going to do that. So that's for the randomly generated. And then lastly, the last prompt I did so far with my roll, so the fourth roll was read a book with gold on the cover. So I'm going to go with this book. It's An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X. Arpan. As you can see, we have gold foiled embossing on the cover. I'm not sure if you can see. Also, like around the arrow is gold, the sun is gold, even the actual like New York Times best-selling author is in gold. You know, there is gold embossing in like on the cover, so I'm going to go with that. And purely I'm going with this because I think it's going to be a very quick fun read, because it is a reinterpretation of Romeo and Juliet. It's filled with romance, magic and Chinese mythology, so I think this cast is like a fantasy Romeo and Juliet version. And it's multiple POV. We've got Romeo and Juliet's like opinions, we've also got the parents like point of views, and I think friends. So I do like a book that has many POVs in. So we are going to be reading An Arrow to the Moon. We're going to be The Wrath and the Dawn. We are going to be reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and we're also going to be reading Lessons in Corruption. So a very mixed bag of books, but I think they're going to be very quick, easy reads. So I think I'm going to do like a vlog, possibly of me reading 1 or 2 books. So I might read like the first 2 books not in a vlog, then 2 books in the vlog, and then once I've read them I will do another probably 4 rolls, see what I get number wise there, and go from there. But that is what's happening in May. I apologise, this is probably a very big long video, but I just wanted it all to be in one rather than making loads of separate videos. But let me know if you're participating on any of these readathons. Let me know if you're reading any of these books, what you recommend book wise for any of the prompts, specifically the Royal Readathon prompt for reading a book that might make me laugh. If you know anything that you've read that's quite funny, do put that recommendation down, because that one's the one I'm like struggling with. But yeah, thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!